Hi everyone. I recently had the question in the community asking, why is there no option to type in a date? The only way is to use a non-intuitive way of selecting year, month, and day. Is this something that is considered? Is there a workaround? Now, I guess it depends on your definition of intuitive. If I jump across to Nintex Forms and open this up and explain how you could work around this, but I guess we prefer to have the inputs done through here because date formatting can be really tricky depending on where you are in the US or Europe or Australia. So the date and the year, the day and the month can be around the wrong way. So making sure it's entered in this way and having the syntax of clearly the month and the day number is clearer than actually typing it in because people could get it wrong. And you could have validation, those sort of things. But at the moment, we have here, and so someone made the comment, well, I don't want to select like this to go back to 2018. Well, you can actually just select the year and you can jump back to whatever decade you want to jump to and also select the month and the day. So it is relatively intuitive, but it depends on what you find intuitive. So maybe typing in is more intuitive to you. So let's go and have a look at how I would solve this by allowing someone to type in. So I'll just show you what I've done. If I click new, and this is just something I've just thrown together. I'm not saying this is the right or wrong way, but we're just going to say submission 2. And you could use sort of any sort of version of this you choose. So I've got 12, 12, 2002, and you'll see here, I've put in 12th of the 12th, 2002, and this is going to restrict me from putting something silly in here because it's only accepting numbers, but it doesn't have a threshold of saying 31st or 12 or anything like that. So this is using the text mask, so you can put 12, 12, and it'll come in and put the correct date in here. And once you press submit, what's happening is it's actually taking, behind the scenes, we're still populating the date time control and populating it through here. So, and then if you come back to that item, I can actually edit that again. And I'll change this to, let's say, 2007, for instance. So I can see 2012, 12th of the 12th, 2002, December 12th, 2002. If I come back through here to edit it, 2007, and I'm going to say this is the 13th. So 13th being in Australia, 13th of December, press submit, and it comes through. Now, this, I mean, you could accept this if you wanted to straight from the single line of text if you wanted to, but this is actually a date column. So, and if you want to make sure your data goes in as a date data type, then you have to actually take your string from the one field and put it into the date time control. So how have I gone and done that? Let's have a look at my Nintex form. So first we've got the title, which is self-explanatory. This is the string which has the text mask of 99, 99, 9,999, just for integers only. Now it's not actually connected. It's never writing its value back. However, this is the one that actually writes the date back to the date column. So I can actually turn this off. I can turn the visible off, and then if we go and publish that and have another look at it, you'll see that I just type in a date, and it's going to still update the column with a correct data type of the date. So let's put make this submission 3. Okay, so submission number 3, and I'm going to put in I don't know, the 16th of the 4th, 2009. So 16th of the 4th, 2009. We're going to press submit so that type in a date field is not actually bound. But 16th of, or 16th of 4th, which has got US syntax for this column. So this is obviously a US site. So that's the benefit of actually writing data back to a date time column. It's going to actually put it in the right syntax you choose. So how do I actually do this? So I'm manipulating my form so it's showing me Australian dates because that's how I work, but behind the scenes, the region of the SharePoint site is set to US. So what happens is I type into this field, and what happens is a rule gets triggered, so update the date field. So once I type in a date into the type in a date field. It's poorly named. Once it's filled, basically, the date time value is set to this variable. Now what this variable is, it's saying convert my string field into a date and actually put it into DDMMYYYY, so that's Australian format. So then behind the scenes, this value goes into the date time control that we've hidden. So if we come to here, this thing gets updated, it's connected to date and goes and updates the field. And that's all well and good. And as you saw before, if I come back to publish and close, what happens is when I go to open that back up again, I'm still only showing the date in the string, but it's not actually bound. So once this opens again, I'll just show you what I'm doing. So submission 3, 4th, 16, or April 16th if I have to think about it. I'm going to change this to, I don't know, 9th of something. Let's have a look. So it's got it back in here, but this isn't a date time control. It's not bound. So if I change this to, I don't know, the 24th, hope it's someone's birthday, 24th of April, 2009. So we'll press submit. Now it's still come back and it's still populated that field. So how am I going to get that value back from the column back into that other control that's not actually bound? So that's another rule that I've built here. So convert the date from the column back into a string and populating the field on the form open. So what we're doing here is we're saying convert a date to a string. And what we're doing is we're going and selecting one of the SharePoint columns, which is the date column, which we've bound to. And then once that's filled, so if it's got data, then the type in a date, the string field that you actually see, the other one's hidden, we set the value to another variable, which is convert to string, and get that SharePoint column of date into a string. And that's how we get the data back again. So it's fairly complex trying to explain it, but if you're familiar with what I'm talking about and you know what I'm seeing here, it's kind of a neat solution. So your users can still type in here if they really wanted to, but at the end of the day, you could also just use the datetime control here through as well. But look, it's really up to you. As I said, the downside of this is someone's going to put in the 13th of the 13th, and that's not going to work. And that's why we prefer things like, where were we? This sort of control here, because then it doesn't matter if you're a universal company or if you're a public website, people will still understand January 2012 or whatever it might be. Hope that's helpful to you. Let me know in the comments. Cheers.